Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you're Jay-Z or Beyonce, what is going on? Listen, I know you guys already heard. Jay-Z and Beyonce sent their lawyer out to pull down a certain interview, baby. But the internet's buzzing about that. But I find what everybody misses and what is most shocking is right in front of our eyes. While everybody was watching, Jay-Z and Beyonce admitted Diddy is guilty. They admitted Diddy has victimized them. Y'all, on top of that, we got to go back to what we talked about last night and what we've been talking about the odd relationship between Jay-Z, Beyonce, their lawyer, but also what's going on with that Tupac investigation. We also going to talk a little bit about Diddy's bail trial. Are y'all ready to get into this? Because, baby, I promise you, when you come to this channel, we're going to find the things that most people are missing. I will think that everybody actually missed this one. Y'all, let's get into this. Hey everybody, what's going on? Listen, Shay said Tisa hasn't been on all day, so we know she's digging for info. I actually am digging for info. Plus, I'll be honest with y'all, I had a headache. I wasn't feeling well. So I took some time, but I said, I got to give y'all what y'all need, because when this was sent to me, it was just a lot. Okay, so let's get into this, shall we? First of all, let's talk about what the basis for all this is, okay? If you guys don't know, if you haven't been living on planet Earth, I'll be really quick. There was an interview on Piers Morgan's show that had TikTok, Twitter, and also YouTube aflutter, right? People made shocking allegations against Jay-Z and Beyonce, but the only thing is, and again, it wasn't like, oh, I think, it wasn't speculation, it wasn't based off, it was like, oh no, they are blah, 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 blah. Piers Morgan aired the interview. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think that interview was live. I reached out to my sources. That interview was not, in fact, live. That interview was taped on a Monday, and I believe the interview was posted on a Thursday. So Piers Morgan had a longer interview, edited down, got the parts that seemed like it made sense, and then he put that along with DJ Vlad and along with I forget the lawyer's name, the really pretty lawyer that's on the Diddy stuff. Put that along with the lawyer that's working on the Diddy stuff. Okay? Everybody went crazy. Everybody went crazy. There were crimes and misdemeanors in that interview. And I remember saying on this thing, yo, I said it in lives when it was leading up. Hold on, we're about to drop the receipts. Are they going to respond to this? Because this is getting national attention. If you guys don't know, Piers Morgan used to be a well-respected broadcaster in the UK. He now has a huge YouTube channel, but he does correspondence on other channels. On top of that, he still has very, very direct links to the Daily Mail, to the Sun, UK Sun, to the US Sun. That's a newspaper. It's under Murdoch newspapers. Murdoch newspapers are the most read newspapers in the world. So even though it looked like it was just on Piers Morgan, they saw that it was about to really go into mainstream. And I remember saying on a bunch of lives, yo, are they going to respond to this? Because this is a lot. You have been publicly accused of putting people in suitcases and then dumping their bodies in alleyways. Anyway, right? Anyway, I said, is something going to happen? Well, it looks like, I guess, what was it, 3 or 4 calendar days later? How many calendar days has it been? Beyonce and Jay-Z actually made a response. But here's the weird thing, and I think everybody missed. They publicly admitted Diddy was guilty. They publicly admitted that there are many more victims. And what's more, they literally went after Piers Morgan. They said they didn't send him a cease and desist. They said they gave him an ultimatum to pull it down, or a court's going to make you pull it down. And I said, is that not what a cease and desist is? I mean, I get it. It's a codified letter, and you send it saying you better cease what you're doing and desist, or we are suing you, right? So I guess you didn't send the formal cease and desist to save Piers Morgan and his ego. But Piers Morgan came out and first did this, okay? And then we're going to get into limit bidding. Hold on. But if you guys haven't seen this, turn your sound up. This is a man humbled. Now, here's the thing. I think because a lot of people just see sound bits on social media, you don't know the history of Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is not a nice person, in my opinion. Piers Morgan at times took part in, at times spearheaded, right? A racist campaign to bully a Black woman out of the UK because she was Black. Piers Morgan has done some vile things. On top of that, they hacked people's phones when he was in a newspaper. They did underhanded things to get information. I don't want anybody crying tears of anything, sympathy for this man, because if you actually did your research into who this man is, he is more vile and has done more vile things. Again, this is all my opinion. I will tell you when it's my opinion. He, in my opinion, is more vile and has done more vile things than anybody he's ever had on his platform. And I mean almost anybody. All right, let's get into what Piers had to say, and then we're going to listen to Beyonce and Jay-Z publicly say that Diddy is guilty. Now, this is a shocking U-turn by them admitting this, because in the past, they've been super silent. And in the past, people have been like, how come you never said anything, right? Because I get it. Nobody has to respond to anybody. But they have issued responses to a lot of things. When Foxy Brown, not Foxy Brown, okay? When Nicki Minaj was talking trash about Jay-Z, they sent they sent somebody out there to go talk on their behalf, right? And to defend Jay-Z's honor. I hope they sent him. I hope somebody didn't just jump up and do it. They have been very selective in what they respond to. A lot of people, including myself, were like, yo, your best friend, your boo-coo buddy, your best friend is now in deep water. What are you going to do? This isn't really something you can stay silent on. It's everybody's right, but it's not really something you can stay silent on. So it looks a little odd that y'all can comment on some things or other, but just staying silent. It looks like they've drawn a line in the sand and they've come out and said that Diddy is guilty. And if they believe Diddy is guilty, what does that mean about the theory that I was floating months ago, right? Months ago, I see people that, you know what? We're not going to be petty today. We're just going to stick to the thing, all right? Because every time I get petty, the people I'm actually talking about know what I'm talking about. And the losers that just be like being losers, somehow think I'm talking to them. So let me stop, right? A lot of hit dogs and they all hollering. So, but the theory I put out months ago about the fact that why would Jay-Z send his lawyer to help represent Tupac's family in an investigation to link him to Diddy? Remember? We talked about this months ago because we're the only ones that read the paper, actually. Seems like on YouTube, not y'all. I know it's my job to read the paper. But I'm just saying, not YouTube, but it seems like in the social media, it's like, does anybody actually pick up the paper? Okay, so this is the first time they're actually coming out and showing, and it makes us think like, okay, what is going on? What is the hidden agenda? And also the people that said they got receipts on Jay-Z and Diddy folding up girls' bodies and putting them in suitcases and dumping them in the alley. I mean, where are those receipts? I'm just saying, but let's get into this, right? So this is what sparked it all. And then we're going to get into Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment,
I believe the accusations were that they were engaging in not just Diddy-like crimes, but what was described murking, kidnapping, just evil stuff, okay?
They were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with a legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing.
Okay, so hold on. Let's see. Goofy Mayor said, well, Hag did say Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Do you mean academics? You mean the man that said he was going to sue me because I read his court documents for what he allegedly did to that woman? You mean the man that, or his team that listened to my live stream, then regurgitated everything that I've been saying for 3 months? Maybe he did. I got to check. Let's keep going.
Interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
To you that
Okay, so
I
for
said in the
Piers
moment, they were
Morgan,
not-
he's British, right? Listen, he's British, right? He's British, so you gotta know a few things, right? For him to apologize was incredibly humiliating, and it was a public lashing. So for him to do this, and as much pride as he has, and the way he don't like bowing down to people that look like this and not like this, it must have been some serious legal weight behind it. I'm not even joking. There must have been some serious legal weight behind this for him to come out and make a full-fledged public apology. But as much as y'all think I'm a big dummy, when I saw the interview, I said, he gonna apologize. I saw it coming because legally it was like, whoa, 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 whoa. But here's the interesting piece, right? Listen, Penny Brooks Doyle, thank you for becoming a new member. Auntie Leah said, I've been waiting all day for tea time. That's right, Auntie Leah. Did you get those kids off the bed? Denise Young said, hey, Mama, I was wondering when you were going to go live about this. Thank you. I had the worst headache in the world. As soon as that Advil kicked in, I was like, But you know, before that, you'd be like, turn the lights off. Shh, my head hurts. Anyway, Yolanda Sky said, Diddy-like crimes is now an adjective. So funny, Tisa. Good catch. They are Diddy-like crimes. Like, now anything beyond the pale. Even Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm like, those are Diddy-like crimes. Anyway, right? Potato Gun Camper said Piers won. That interview will live forever. He's just saving the network from getting sued. Nothing is deleted from the internet. Exactly. Piers did win. Piers did win. And I wonder why it took them so long to get that interview snatched down, because I would have snatched that interview down. Now, oddly enough, I did hear people talking about, well, you know, they snatched it down. I think it's an interesting legal theory because there's no cease and desist sent out to, and it's kind of like, is that what you're doing? You're just going to make sure that no major news publications, and also I'm guessing YouTube, TikTok. Well, you can't really control TikTok. YouTube will pull it. Well, you can control TikTok. TikTok, when I say if you have an issue, they will pull a video down really quick, right? So on YouTube, TikTok, definitely Instagram, did you really just basically make it so that nobody else will have that person on their show, right? Whether you believe they're telling the truth or not, we're not arguing about that. I got my own theories that I'm going to keep to myself, right? Because that's not the point, right? This is drama free Tisa. So, but let's look at it from a legal aspect, right? What is the purpose of cease and desist? To tell, we're about to get into Jay-Z and Beyonce's comments in 1 second, but let me just go through this. What's the purpose of a cease and desist? That you immediately stop from this behavior, action, words, whatever, and you take a step back. You desist from doing it anymore. So you immediately stop, and then you say you will never, ever do it again. And in the cease and desist, it says if you continue in this and do not honor this cease and desist, we will sue you, right? That's where it's going to go. They will say we will take this up to the fullest extent of law. A typical cease and desist also says that these are untrue allegations. You don't have to give everybody your proof of why it's untrue. You just have to say these are 100% untrue, because that person has noticed from the date of the cease and desist that they have actual knowledge, constructive knowledge, or implied knowledge that the things they are saying are not true, right? I'm not changing the subject. They do that and they're like, they are not true. Okay. Now, for Piers Morgan, they didn't send him a cease and desist. That's what they're saying. Even though what they did, an ultimatum, is a cease and desist, but it hasn't been codified on the four corners, which is a piece of paper. Again, it's important. Words have power, and illegal. That was a way, I think, to let Piers Morgan have a little wiggle room. It was an ultimatum: either edit this out or not. Potato Gun Camper, you are right. The whole internet saw this. It's going to live forever, even on TikTok. Now, it is interesting to see, because they didn't do a cease and desist. Will the news station, right? Because Beyonce and Jay-Z can go to TikTok, they can go to YouTube. Everybody that posted about that, they can pull that down and say that it's defamatory. They're going to, YouTube will pull it down. TikTok will pull it for violating community guidelines, right? I think it is a community guideline if you accuse somebody of murking somebody and it's not in the news, it hasn't been investigated. You see what I'm saying? So in any case, they can pull it down, but that will get a lot of backlash. Okay, I think this is their legal strategy. Just hear me out. That will get a lot of backlash. Oh my God. And it will feed the Illuminati rumors. It'll feed the Illuminati rumors. So I would think, and we're going to start to see on TikTok if a lot of this stuff isn't actually pulled down, you go through the news network. You make the news network do all your work to go to things on TikTok, to go to YouTube, and the news network, since they're the one that owns the footage, right? Even if you post something on TikTok, unless you transform it, you own the footage, right? For the news network to put pressure on and say, pull this footage down. That way, every TikTok that has something about this might get shadow banned, maybe it'll get pulled down. And on YouTube, if YouTube finds this in violations of community guidelines, they'll also pull the video down. Okay. So it's an interesting legal strategy if this is their legal strategy. Okay. This is a speculation for the people in the back, right? But if it is a legal strategy, it's a pretty good one. Why do we have to go do all this work? You said it. You're pulling it down, and now your whole team is in charge. A legal team is in charge of going to TikTok and all corners of the earth trying to get. It's going to be very interesting in the next coming days to see if any remnants of that original broadcast, whether on TikTok or YouTube, actually exists. Okay, that's one. But part two is by making it by not doing a cease and desist, but to send an ultimatum, which is a non-codified cease and desist. That's what a cease and desist is, an ultimatum, right? If you do not do A, I will do B. I promise you I'll do B, okay? By taking this man, who is a symbol of entitled, racist, God forbid, reporting, but has ties to major organizations, to actually frog march him out and literally publicly make him stand there and humiliate himself with the bang bang of, we will sue this network into oblivion in your back. It was a message not just to his platform, but to every platform, from Piers on up and from Piers on down, if you want to look at YouTube and TikTok as down. This is a warning shot for any creator, no matter how big or small, that would dare ever have Jaguar Wright come and talk and share her story, right? Now, she can do it on her own channel, right? She can do it on her own, and that is her own risk. But it is a warning to anybody that has her anywhere close. And if she ever mentions the name again, not so much to her, but for the channels, and anybody that would have her on, I would assume you're doing it because you want to, like they want to say, get those clicks, get average revenue, or even just expand your what do you call it, your base, your base, so that you can be in. Again, you want to give your follower, again, people have different reasons why they interview people. I'm not getting into that, but do you see my point about the way that, now that's an interesting legal strategy, because at the end of the day, why not just send that person directly that's saying it a cease and desist instead of everybody that's mouthing it off? Now, some people say, I think Claudia Jordan said she tried to sue that person and she couldn't even find an address, right? Okay, that's one thing. If you cannot find someone's address, it's hard to sue them. Eventually, the courts may let you make a public serving, like you are being sued, but it's very, very hard to get. Other people say that person is broke, but you have to realize that with legal, it's not just monetary. Sometimes you want that cease and desist. Sometimes you want that gag order. Sometimes you want it so that you are not allowed to talk to me ever. Now, mind you, getting something that blanketed is very, very hard to do because we live our First Amendment rights. We live in America. People have a right to their opinion. You can just never present your opinion as fact. We have a right to our opinion, but you can't give your opinion as fact. And as soon as you give your opinion as fact and then double down and triple down and do this and that, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a problem. So to the people that say, well, why didn't they send a cease and desist? Well, for two reasons. One, who knows if they can find them? Well, three reasons. Who knows if they can find them? And the second one is, but how can you make sure that somebody can never say your name again? Even you look at Tasha K and Cardi B. Tasha K still talks about Cardi B. Now, she watch her mouth, but she still talks about Cardi B. She still posts about Cardi B, okay? I think that this is more a danger to the people that gave a platform for that person to say, like, the claims that they say are beyond the pale, okay? So that's for what's the point of suing? The point of suing is, but still, why don't you try? Because this person is just going to go to platform to platform. But it is an interesting and some would say very clever legal technique. The fact that you realize it's going to be very, very hard to make sure this person never says anything about me. Because even if they don't say anything derogatory, they can still speak about me, right? If it's not derogatory. So let me go to the media. Let me put the YouTubers on notice. Let me put the TikTokers on notice. Let me put the radio shows on notice that anybody that has this mofo on their thing, and if they say one derogatory thing about us, we will not sue the brokey. We will sue, because that's what the rich people love to call us, brokies, right? We will not sue the norm, the brokey, whatever you want to think. We're not arguing on whether you believe that person or not, okay? That's your own business. By the way, also, it doesn't matter who you are voting for or not. Even though the Diddy is keeping us busy, even though so many things are going on, do not be distracted. Make sure that you go out and vote. Make sure you go out and vote, especially if your state is one of the states that could decide the time. I don't care who you vote for at this point. Y'all know who I'm voting for. And if you don't, it don't matter. Go out and vote. Make your vote heard. Again, let's prove that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can worry about the mess. We can look at what's going on in the court documents. We can live our lives, be healthy, whatever. And guess what? We can still vote and make sure that our voices are heard. So that's my little spiel on voting. I don't care who you vote for. Just make sure you go out and vote. Okay. So anyway, it's an actually really good strategy because you can keep playing whack-a-mole, dragging them into court. No, you said this. Well, that wasn't that bad. Well, you can play whack-a-mole, or you can scare everybody from Piers Morgan to on up to radio show. I will sue the company. I will shut your YouTube channel down. I will get your TikTok account banned. J-Lo did it, and she did it with even less. So it really does kind of like stop everything in its tracks, but also create a path where they can actually get money. Now, I don't know which one they were doing. I'm not their lawyer, but from a legal pathway, if you actually think about what's happening, I think it's actually a clever plan to stop someone from talking about you when in America, you cannot stop the opinion. All you can do is stop. What somebody thinks about you, and also if they're accusing you of any promiscuity, any disease, anything with health, or anything with crime, and for the people that don't know, reading somebody's court docs or going off of formalized accusations that's not grounds for someone to sue you, because they are actually court docs, you know. At the end of the day, also, we're gonna get into this, but here's the thing. Balawa Jackson said it's just a BJ. You have a hard time said Ingram name. Wait, what? You have a hard time saying Ingrid's name. Jaguar never show me a receipt. It's just a BJ. You have a hard time saying Ingrid's name. Who's Ingrid's name? But yeah, listen, here's the thing. We're not going to get into that actual person, because for what? Anyway, Larry says, I heard your rant, but you have to remember everyone has to take the number one person down, and you are it right now. So all you are off your hard work. Good right. Y'all, listen, let's get into what Jay-Z and Beyonce said. But you guys, that wasn't a rant. If you guys are new to my channel, y'all know when I'm on my righteous stuff, that is the way I talk. I'm animated. I have this. I don't know how everybody else be like, well, again, it's not me, right? It's not me. But even with my rant, it's like, that wasn't a rant. I was reminding everybody, don't put me in the category of being a conspiracy theorist, baby. My shit is off of my verified sources that have been right time and time again. We predicted Diddy's trial every single step of the way, down to his indictment, apology, and the charges, right? When everybody was calling me a liar, right? On top of that, we look at our vast network of sources. We look at newspaper articles. We look at court documents, right? Based upon the information and belief. And when it comes down to it, when we are speculating, we don't got no problem saying we're speculating. Again, that's why the channel can go into syndication off of videos I made about Diddy 10, 11 months ago that now everybody is not scared to speak on, because the New York Times and the LA Times have verified. People said that case was going to be thrown out. I said, it ain't going to be thrown out. Little Rod's case was going to be thrown out. I said, it isn't going to be thrown out. And what's more, Diddy is under federal investigation. Diddy is going to be, there is a grand jury assembling. Diddy is going to be indicted and everything else. And everything I said came out true. But anyway, I don't call that a rant. I call that popping my collar. But anyway, listen, forget about that. We'll talk about that later. Because, you know, when somebody says, what do you feel about being right? I'm like, oh my God, I love this question. I turn into that meme. But no, that wasn't a rant. That was me popping my collar. And the thing is, for 7 minutes, I was showing title after title. I made over 1,000 Diddy videos, and they all been well researched. It was 7 minutes of title after title after title, showing videos from 10, 11 months ago, saying, like, again, you ain't gotta love me. I really, honestly, for the people in the back, I don't care, baby. I'm not everybody's flavor, but I'm my own favorite. I'm my own favorite taste, right? But at the end of the day, don't clump me into conspiracy theories or someone that just be lying and making up things out the air. It's not my fault. Some people I read newspapers and some people don't. That's all I'm saying. It's not my fault. I can connect the dots. But thank you, Larry. Also, Speak Your Truth 638 said, hey, TT, PM is an example. Yes, he's an example of white privileged a-hole. Exactly. The privileged a-hole. I'm telling y'all, Google Piers Morgan. He is not this sympathetic victim that you think at all. At all. Potato Cone Camper said, was Pimpin' Ken right about the Beyonce Pimp C tape? I don't know nothing about that. That is beyond me. And if there is a tape, they should be ashamed of themselves, because that is revenge P. Harvey 13 girl 8 said, 18 said, no one had filed a defamation of character receipt. Again, I think this was actually a smarter legal move. Again, I know y'all dragged me like last week and the week before when I was like, yo, what Jay-Z's ties to Diddy could be, and if he was going to go down, how it would go down. Yeah, I didn't want to hear it. Yeah, I didn't want to hear it. Yeah, I didn't want to hear it. But I think I'm on the money. Kim Marie Norman said, isn't he out of jurisdiction? What do you mean jurisdiction? You're talking about Piers Morgan? No. That's what federal courts are for. Federal courts are for two citizens from different states to sue each other, or a citizen to sue a foreign government, or a foreign government to sue a citizen, or a citizen to sue another citizen of a different country. And because of our treaties with the UK will 100% 100% make Piers Morgan show up, and because the UK recognizes American federal court jurisdiction. Some countries we're beefing with don't, and we don't recognize there, but the UK does. That is how Amber Heard was able to get a guilty verdict against Johnny Depp in London. She had a trial in London, and he was found guilty. He came over to the US, again, both American citizens. He came over to the US and had the trial in US court. So no, Pierce isn't out of jurisdiction. Like, you will be held accountable to our court system, you know? Angela Maynard, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that, mama. Also, Harvey 13 Girl 18 said, Tisa is too legit to quit for reporting the truth. That's right. And Tosha Smith says, yes, that's the way Tisa talks all day. Exactly. People new to my channel are like, oh, she upset. Do y'all like, baby, I live my life passionately. Just ask my man. That's the way Tisa talks all day. And I love every bit. I talk that way too. That's right, Tosha. That's right. Passionate people got to be passionate. Okay, listen. Also, Lee said, Tisa, you're doing your thing. People will forever be mad. Keep shining. Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate that. But you know what? We're pushing out all the negativity, because the most surprising thing is the most irrelevant people always, you know what? Let me shut up and not be petty, right? Let me just shut up and not be petty, because every single time I try to be petty, the person I'm taking a shot at, it's like they know, but it's all the little irrelevant, like drowned rats running around that somehow think they in a war. So let me stop, because people be swearing they in like the end game, and you're just like, okay. Anyway, y'all, let's get into what the breakthrough is and stop talking about what's going on in the channel, okay? Even though I can do that all day. Hold on.
Respond or defend themselves, but now they have.
This is a public lashing, and this was so humiliating for him. And then we're going to cycle into the next video.
Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
King to you.
Now that was a lot. Also, apologies. It's Harvey 13 Girl 8. Okay, thank you, Harvey 13 Girl 8. Okay, so listen to this, because this to me is what everybody missed. And this to me is the most interesting part, that they are literally publicly admitting that Diddy is guilty. This is Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyer, Alex Sparrow. As you know, lawyers are authorized on behalf of their clients to make statements, and he is making statements on behalf of Beyonce and Jay-Z. He knows that. He is too good not to know that. They know that, and they are literally admitting that Diddy is guilty. Listen to this. And again, just listen.
That somebody comes on a show and then kind of levels these vague-ish allegations. Were you kind of ready for something like this to eventually happen?
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, and I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited that kind of random rumor mill, whether it's disconnected from reality or what have you, and lifted it up. And by doing that, you know, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by
Droning out the voices of real victims. So you are now admitting that there are victims. Now, this is Jay-Z and Beyonce's attorney. He speaks on their behalf. He is on TMZ to speak on his behalf. He did not send out a cease and desist on his own behalf. But it gets deeper. Hold on.
By doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What what he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
So that interview wasn't just an interview. It drowned out the voices of actual victims. I know you guys might be like, Tisa, you nitpicking, but in this type of thing with legal, when there is role play, when there is wordplay, when things are so technical, when they are walking around with something to cease and desist or something's an ultimatum, you need to listen to every word. The fact that this is the beginning and a shocking U-turn of Beyonce and Jay-Z via their lawyer publicly admitting that it drowned out the voices of the victims. This is the first time they've even acknowledged that there are actual victims. But hold on, let's just keep going 1 second.
What he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the process?
And drowning out the voices of not the alleged victims, but the actual victims in an ongoing investigation. Why are these words so important? Well, for one, this interview, I assume, was authorized by Jay-Z and Beyonce. On top of that, the lawyer works for Jay-Z and Beyonce. He's the one that sent it out. On top of that, he wouldn't say anything that was not authorized by his clients in relation to this. He must protect their interests at all times, okay? You guys, watch this space. Jay-Z and Beyonce, via the lawyer, have admitted for the first time ever that it isn't alleged. They don't believe that it is alleged. They don't believe that they believe that there were actual victims. And the reason they pulled down that interview is because it was drowning out the voices of the actual victims, not alleged victims, not assumed victims, but alleged victims, not the women accusing Sean Diddy Combs of horrible things. No. The actual victims and drowning out. Why is that important? Because Beyonce and Jay-Z's lawyer is also the same lawyer that out of the blue was hired by Tupac's family to investigate. Now, there are a lot of articles that say that Jay-Z is the one that, sent his lawyer. A lot of people think maybe Jay-Z is the one paying for it. We all know that Jay-Z, I believe, was paying for Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer, or maybe Roc Nation was, but that was a business thing. So maybe they had to because she's a big money earner, and they also have a friendship, right? But when it comes to with your lawyer is also, and we were talking about this 3 or 4 months ago, he also is with the Tupac investigation, and the same lawyer is helping them investigate Diddy's links and Diddy's ties to the Tupac murking. If you guys saw my live yesterday, you will know, right? If you saw my live yesterday, you will know that the federal prosecutors, and according to multiple news sources, if you want the sources, please go and check the receipts in the other video. But there are multiple news articles that the prosecutors are working very closely and sharing information and working very closely with LAPD and Las Vegas, Nevada PD. On top of that, people are saying, right? And just watch the space on November 4th to see if I'm actually right. But the car that Eric Zip Martin, the car that was used to murk Tupac was either rented or paid for by Artista. I'm not going to pronounce it right. You already know. Artista Records. That is the record place that had Clive Davis, and they were the ones that put the first amount of big major money into Bad Boy. Clive Davis, his little baby, Diddy. The car was either paid for or rented by, and it was driven from New York all the way to Las Vegas. On top of that, Keith D did actually say in his police interrogation that Diddy put a $1 million price on Pac's head, and that when they did the murking, he tried to collect. and Diddy refused to pay. But I believe Eric Zip Martin was the one that actually got paid. In Keith D's book, he says that he was in Vegas, right? He got called to a car. A 90s rap superstar woman, Foxy Brown, was in the car, got out the car. Okay. She didn't have anything to do with the murking, but she could place him at the scene of the crime because after Keith D gave his confession, after Keith D did all that, he and wrote all this in a book. He said he got in a car, the hammer was passed to him. Then when he had the hammer, he got out the car. And that's when he passed it to his cousin and like bang, 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 bang. When Foxy Brown did not have anything to do with the murking, obviously, but the prosecutors want to put her on the trial, put her on the stand because at the end of the day, Keith D's new alibi is it couldn't have been me because I lied about everything. Even my police confession that pinned Diddy, I lied about everything. And if you guys really want to know what happened, well, I was never there. He literally said he hit the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. And he told everybody that he was not there. So he should not be held accountable for anything that happened in the Tupac case. Now, the feds laughed in his face. They said, I know you would lie. And he is sitting in jail. And much like Diddy, this is like sliding doors, 2 trains passing in the night. He is being held without bail too. Keith D's son has given numerous interviews where he says that he actually is mad at the prosecutors because he said by the prosecutors releasing all this information, not only did he put a price on Keith D's head, but also on the whole family's head because everybody thinks they're snitching. On top of that, right? How did they get him to stay in jail? They said he was a danger to the society because his son says he went to the jail and said, yo, this is all in newspaper articles. You can Google it. His son said he went to the jail and was like, yo, what's going on? Like all this talk, it looks like they're going to put a green light on you. Apparently green light is hood for they're going to murk you, right? So the son was like, yo, I'm hearing they're going to put a green light on you. Like, Dad, what's going on? Keith D talked to his son about it while he was in jail. And after that conversation, because all your conversations in jail are recorded, prosecutors went and said, yo, he needs to stay in jail. He shouldn't get any bail because Keith D was trying to put a green light on other people. The son said, that's ridiculous. Why would we be so stupid? We all know that everything's recorded in a jail. Why would y'all do that? You're twisting my words. And the prosecutor's like, yeah, good question. Why would you? Because we have you on tape. Anyway, that's why Keith D can't get bail. So that is what's going on with this. However, federal prosecutors, according to news reports, you can Google them, have been working side by side with the LAPD and the Las Vegas PD and the LAPD. They've been working side by side and sharing information because they actually see a connection that they might be able to make. On top of that, Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, once again, was hired by Tupac's family to kind of get involved, and they're conducting their own private investigation linking Diddy to Tupac's murking. Let's also not forget that Christopher Wallace's mama, Mrs. Wallace, has come out in recent days, according to Gene Dill. Yeah. No. Gene Dill said that was about Wolf's mama. Did y'all know what happened between Wolf? Wolf is a man that looked like Justin, but it's not Justin's daddy. Wolf, Diddy's best friend, Diddy, and then the night Wolf got murked. I'll tell y'all in a second, but let me just get through this anyway. Christopher Wallace, Biggie Smalls' mom, has also spoken out about Diddy. Diddy apparently did her really dirty after Biggie passed away, but it's coming out that she actually is now looking, saying, yeah, we need to investigate that mofo too. Again, the roosters are coming home to nest. What do all these things mean? Now we got to speculate because there's a lot of interesting dots that are coming up, but I find it odd that after the Jaguar rights stuff, right? After all that happened and it got removed and blah, 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 I find it odd that now Jay-Z and Beyonce are coming out, and a lot of people skipped over it, publicly saying they now believe there are victims of Diddy. Now, could they be louder about it? Maybe. But they're actually coming out in public and saying that. And your lawyer represents you. So y'all can't be like, oh, the lawyer was speaking on his own. No, he wasn't. There was an interview about the way Jay-Z and Beyonce, but let's keep going.
Of making sure that it is taken down everywhere.
What I am here to say is that in a situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody in this way. And
pause. The reason I keep saying put themselves out as a journalist is because journalists get a certain level of protection that the average citizen for saying something isn't afforded. They get an amount of protection. It is actually a constitutional right. It's an offspring of a constitutional right, but it still has heavy links down to the U.S. Constitution. However, it is a contract. In order for you to have journalistic protection, you must apply to the principles of journalism. And it's the ethics and principles of journalism. They're all written out. Every journalist major knows what they are. They're saying, and this isn't even a thinly veiled threat. He is saying that we will go after you and we will sue you and you will not have that journalistic protection. Because what Piers Morgan did by bringing someone on and not vetting any of the claims, that huge network isn't necessarily for it. I'm not saying they couldn't prove it in court, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to go to court as far as a big network for something like this. Especially, it makes you think maybe Piers thought from the beginning that there was no validity to the claims. But let's keep going.
so that's the real reason for action.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something as they did here, they are sending a message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can?
This
Again, you guys can say I'm putting 20 on 10, but I'm not. This is a shocking U-turn. Or maybe it's the way they're slowly creeping out. They have literally, to me, completely cut. You heard the last thing. This is a shocking U-turn. When the Carters come out, such as they did now, to put their foot down against right or wrong, this is what happens. Again, let's just rewind it because he actually said from the gate, one of the reasons they were so upset about what happened on that interview is because that person's voice drowned out the voices of the victims, not the alleged victims, not the supposed victims, not the women or men accusing this man of doing something, but the victims. Now, you can say this. Are they supporting Diddy? Hell no. Does it look like they've already cut ties and turned on them? Yes. What is the hidden agenda? Well, maybe it's not even hidden. There is a federal case going on. The feds have evidence of a lot. And even if people didn't participate, a lot of people knew. At least it's looking like they knew what Diddy was into. The fact that the lawyer is now saying they are not alleged victims, but they were victims, and it was drowning out the voices of the actual victims. Y'all, let's rewind it one more time in case y'all think I'm putting 20 on 10 because you know. Oh, let me get to these super chats really quick. Hold on. Let's see. Who said this? Diana said, Tisa, one of your videos went viral, not in a good way, because they were trying to drag you. On Twitter a couple of days ago. You guys, listen, I really appreciate this. I really do. And thanks for sticking up to me. But when I say from the bottom of my heart, I made my point. I showed my receipts. Anybody that wants to hate can hate and let them go hate. I'm glad the video did go viral because I'm sure out of 100 people, 30 and 40 came and saw what was on my page. And under that, I'm sure 20 people actually liked what they saw and 10 people decided to subscribe. So baby, it's all love. It is all love, but y'all don't have to come and tell me what went viral, who, whatever. At the end of the day, I stand and y'all see that my channel's gone into syndication. So again, let's get back to the Nancy do what it do because we're keeping it positive and we are having a celebration of life, of abundance, right? Of everything good. But thank you so much. Measured Man said, Tisa tells, this was no accident. Listen to me, and this went right on code and plan. Wait if you read my emails. LOL. Wait, if you read my emails, LOL, I've been trying. Okay, I've been a little busy and I had a headache, but I'm going to get to the emails. Thank you so much, Measured Man. This was no accident. Let me tell you something. The fact that everybody just brushed over, and that's why I love y'all at this channel, because we connect the little dots. Anybody can read a newspaper. Anybody can spell. Everybody can repeat. And ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Because, baby, we all do it. But when it comes to a fine point of detail where people start playing with the lever of the law and words have power and meaning, nothing is on accident. You don't just get up and start freestyling. You have a message you need to put out. And this was a message. Mal Gomez, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Also, Kimberly Will said, you were given an 80% correct by fellow Brit Tuber this morning. Has more info tomorrow. You keep doing you. That's why most turn in. Love your energy. Thanks so much, Kimberly Will. Yeah. Also, Shay Dennis said, girl, I love watching your content. I've been watching you since the Shanquilla Robinson investigation. Great job. Thank you so much, Shay. I appreciate that. Dennis Young said, Tisa is very resourceful. That's right. That's right. You can put me in a room with nothing but curtains and some dental floss, and I'm going to come out in a ball gown. Me, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Shay Dennis said, are you going to speak on Diddy's third appeal tonight? Yeah, when I'm done with this live, I'm going to go off and then come back on and talk about Diddy's appeal. And also, we're going to talk about who's selling Diddy's tapes. Who indeed? Also, Julia Mazzo said, his HISS was not about Nicki, but the whole industry. I thought his was about Nicki, but maybe that's me. I'll be paying attention to the rap beat. I'd just be like, Y'all know we love Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think that was about Nicki either, but Ahmad L said that crazy woman should be in a mental hospital, lol. Also, Angeline Alexander said, if the Lord have anything to do with this, they all going down. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good light. Protect the children. Yeah, always protect the children. Thank you so much for that, Angeline Alexander. Georgette Shaw said, I keep missing notification of you going live, being a tattleteller. YouTube is like, I've been going live so much. YouTube is like, just check her channel. She probably posted something. Even I made YouTube tired with notifications. Just check her channel. Like YouTube is like, she probably on. Just go. Don't even ask us. Kim Marie Norman said the lawyer is clearing the path for them. They made a public separation. The Carters are speaking. Listen, I completely agree with you. And I can't believe more people actually didn't pick up on this, right? Or maybe y'all did. Let me go to the comments. But I can't believe more people didn't actually pick up on the fact that they are now not saying alleged. Everybody said, why don't they speak on what's going on with Diddy? They have come out and said, the actual victims, and they actually cited the victims as the reason why they put their foot down and had that interview pulled down off of Piers Morgan, because it was actually overshadowing and drowning out. They said it was fictitious. It said it was lies. It was flights of fancy, but they said those fictitious lies, flights of fancy, whatever, were drowning out the voices of the actual victims. And then he repeated again, the voices of the actual victims. And then he wrapped it up in, this is why they came out and put their foot down, because when it comes to right and wrong, they will always stand on the thing that's right. You guys, this is huge. Now, why are they doing this? Well, let's speculate, shall we? We just talked about the ties to the Tupac thing. Hold on, let me get through this. Also, fantastic media group. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Let's do a run through one more time because I was busy interrupting.
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited that kind of random rumor mill, whether it's disconnected from reality or what have you, and lifted it up. And by doing that, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the process of making sure that it is taken down everywhere?
What I am here to say is that in a situation,
again, they made the point about, are you in the process of making sure it's getting taken down everywhere? This was actually a pretty smart legal move. Alex Sparrow doesn't he doesn't have to chase TikTok and YouTube. Now, Piers Morgan and that network, baby, they got them out there hustling like the rent is due. And be prepared for every platform they can to get that pulled down. On top of that, I'm telling y'all, and just watch the space. This is a legal warning, not just to the bigger networks, but to the YouTubers, to the TikTokers, to radio people, to magazines, anybody that gives that woman a platform, it is a warning shot. But let's keep going.
Situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody.
And if you notice, he's not speaking off the cuff. If you notice, every new point, he looks to the left. He's looking at his notes. Again, someone as very, very good. What am I saying? Very. You can look at his resume. He is one of the best, if not the best, litigator coming out of New York for what he actually does for his field, right? For him to be sitting there reading off the notes and letting this out there, why is this happening? I have my theory, but we'll continue.
In this way. And so that's the real reason for action.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something, as they did here, they are sending a
as they put their foot down on as they did here, they are sending a
message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can?
If they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can? I'm just surprised that people aren't seeing how huge this is. The way literally the tide has shifted. What does this mean for Diddy? I think that the Carters, my opinion, the speculation, if you will, I think the Carters, right? And I think a lot of Diddy's powerful friends have realized that Diddy is donezo. Diddy is donezo, okay? Now, I have my theory on why this is happening. I don't know if it's true. I just like to speculate because maybe something has to be the truth because things don't just happen out of nothing.
This must have been shocking to you that somebody comes on a show and then kind of.
This is interesting. Shakira Jackson said, why would TMZ be working with him if they made a whole documentary about him on Tubi? Let me tell you about TMZ, right? As much as people want to come for YouTubers, right? And it's fine, and TikTokers and people on social media. The one dirty secret, and we saw that in what happened last we saw that in what happened last time with what do you call it? The election when Facebook and Meta and all the stuff were being accused of by putting out false information and blah, 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 right? And the way that they made their money, Instagram, it's off of information, but also clicks and views. Modern media makes their money off of clicks and views. You realize the New York Times ain't doing this for their health. Yes, the writers care, the writers, but the actual corporation, that's the New York Times, baby, all they care about is ad dollars. That's why they laying off writers left and right. That's why they're laying off people left and right. That's why they're cutting the ad dollars. Because at the end of the day, the corporations that own these newspapers only care about the clicks and views. The writers might care. So TMZ, even though people are like, oh, it's so credible, maybe it's the same model as TikTok. It's the same model as YouTube. It's the same model as the New York Post uses. A click, a view, or whatever. Now, that said, that's not to disparage anybody's platform, whether they're fellow YouTubers, TikTokers, and of course, major media. Okay. But my point of the matter is Harvey is also a lawyer. Harvey is also very, very cool with a lot of Diddy's lawyers. Okay. He knows every lawyer in the game. Harvey, and again, I think TMZ, they slant themselves that when they can give Diddy the benefit of the doubt, they do. Now, maybe they truly believe Diddy deserved the benefit of the doubt, right? Or they did it as a solid to their friends. Oh, I know you, you know me. Just hit me up, email me, be nice. I'll see. It's a little thing. I'll give you a little benefit of the doubt. But let's also not forget on that hand. But on the other hand, TMZ has to look like they're impartial. Oh, we just report, when that's not true, because we've seen even with the Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the picture they put up of Kendrick, he looked like a crackhead. I think it was still from him playing a crackhead. Drake was looking all suave, right? And it was so this is when they thought Drake was going to win. Why? Because it came from Drake's camp. Yo, we want better favorable coverage. TMZ has been known to do catch and kills. TMZ is a news organization, but they are also a tabloid journalism. Okay. My whole point is, why would they do the Tubi movie? Because they also need those clicks and views. And they know that Diddy gets clicks and views. But even if you look at the documentaries they did, they still try to paint Diddy in the better light. Because tell me how there's all these victims coming out and TMZ that loves to get into like really, TMZ tried to pay, I think, EMTs or whatever when Kobe and Natanya went down, pictures of the site or something or other. And again, it was really, really low down, right? My whole point of the matter is, tell me why none of the victims have been on TMZ. Tell me how TMZ hasn't done a deep dive into Diddy's freak offs and what really happened. Anytime they have a chance to go below the surface and really get into that tea that TMZ is known for, TMZ can get into some mess. Like, that's why we still read them. Because, baby, when they are doing their job, they are on it. The fact that TMZ has not deep dived into what really was going on in the freak offs, the fact that TMZ has not deep dived into the guest list, the fact that TMZ has never interviewed in detail any of the victims and done that, what does that tell you about what they believe? Maybe they believe nothing. Maybe they're doing it for click and views, but at the end of the day, it will be weird to even ignore something. So they're saying, oh, we did a doc, we did this, and they name it, oh, behind Diddy. But when you actually look at the meat of the doc, where's any of the victims? Where's the lawyers? Where's the deep dive? Y'all know what people ate for breakfast 8 weeks ago. How come you haven't done a behind the scenes and a thorough investigation of what actually happened at Diddy's parties? Y'all know everybody that was at them. You see, it doesn't add up. So again, I'm not saying TMZ is compromised, but I do know that they have yet to really go in on Diddy the way we've seen them go in on everybody else. Baby, they literally were telling us what Kanye West had for breakfast every step of the way. And that was just an argument between him and Kim. You mean to tell us you can't get any tea on any of the freak-offs? Any tea on the white parties? Any info from insiders with the police that were called? Nothing with Cassie? Nothing with the hotel people? Nothing? All you can do is give us a documentary that has Diddy's lawyer laughing and telling us a very PG-13 version of what happened, so you can go and say, well, there were two consenting adults. Again, I see game for what it is. I see game for what it is. No shade to TMZ. Get it how you live it. But again, I see game for what it is. Anyway, Carmen Laurie said she just did a new YouTube interview today with real life. Okay, that's cool. Get it how you live it. Beautiful Messy Ball said, stop the cap. This is not a legal warning. This is a cover up bait and switch. The Fed swapped Diddy out for J&B making deals behind the curtain. I don't think that the Fed swapped Diddy out for J&B making deals behind the curtain with them. Listen, I actually do think this is illegal. Y'all gonna start dragging me, but I actually do think that this is a legal warning 100%. Also, where else are we at? Hold on, I just want to get into this 1 second. Also, I do find it odd, right? I do find it odd also, and I called this on live a couple of weeks ago, that Jay-Z was going to have every single woman who's ever been associated with him for any reason come out and say that everybody's lying. It happened with Foxy Brown. She says the rumors. Then I wasn't even the one that spoke about it. I never spoke about those rumors, right? Much of people want to put that on my name. I never spoke about those rumors, right? Because whatever. Foxy Brown came out. Free came out. Almost every woman that Jay-Z's been tied to has come out and said, what? Y'all crazy. Free said there was never a baby, right? I didn't even know about that rumor. Well, I knew about it, but I didn't think it was true, right? They said that Diddy said, it's all, listen, again, Free just came out and said no. Foxy Brown said no. Everybody's saying Jay's an angel. They come up on this, pull the Piers Morgan interview down, and on top of that, they are now saying that there were 100% victims. What's the agenda behind it? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out with y'all. But we cannot say that, nothing's true. Free came out and said the baby rumors were false. I know there were rumors about Free being blackballed from the industry. She didn't speak on that. But honestly, I don't know what was going on back then. So we don't even know if that had anything to do with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Free could have just been sick of being on the channel. Natalia K said, do you think they're cooperating with their friend, the Feds, Rock Nation CEO? Listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't believe in the not snitching. If the Feds want something, tell them what they need to know. Answer their questions. Too sweet. Literally, I hope Jay-Z and Beyonce are cooperating with the Feds. I hope they're doing their best to make sure Diddy is under the jail. Listen, whoever needs to cooperate with the Feds, cooperate with them. I'm not the type of person that's just like, oh, I ain't talking. Me. What, you want an A minor? No? C sharp? That's going to be me. When you see me talking to the Feds, me. That's what you're going to see me doing when I'm talking to the Feds. Because there are listen, Little Kim is one of the great iconic rap artists. I really wish she would write an autobiography because I think that could shake the table. But at the end of the day, when she did that no snitching thing and refused and did a bid for ninjas that didn't even come visit her, yeah, wouldn't, couldn't, and will not be me. C. Giles for Life said, stay tuned for Tita Tells. No one brings the news like her. We get the tea all day long. No one can stop her. We all the way up. I know that's right. Hold on really quickly. Also, I'm getting... What? Okay. Okay. Anyway, right? Also, listen. He said, not you pulling out the big microphone tonight. I know that's right. Thank you, C. Giles for Life. Also, Kim Marie Norman said they put their foot downward on their name only, not on behalf of the victims. What is support for Cassie publicly? Listen, they feel they have to roll the support out slowly, but it's definitely coming out. And everybody on Jay-Z's side that people have been saying rumors about have come out and said that it's all lies and it's all BS, right? Mixed Chick said, I stopped watching after Vlad started talking. Finger muffed to the forehead. Okay. Jocelyn Rochelle said, Little Rock Harris, thank you for being a member. Sharon Lee, thank you for becoming a member. And thank you for becoming a member. Jocelyn Rochelle. Kimberly Norman said, clean up on aisle 9. I know that's right. YM Droid said, in fairness to Jay, people said she was off when she talked on Diddy, and we see now. Also, Beyonce should hook Meghan Markle up with her lawyer to really gag Piers Morgan. Yo, now that would be a power couple. YM Droid, that would gag the girls. Don't Cross Me said, I believe the Carters backed away from whatever they had going on with Diddy because he was getting sloppy. J&B are big on keeping their brand out of the mud. What the lawyer said spoke volumes. Exactly. Don't cross me. And Sharon Lee, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Exactly. Hold on. 1 second. Okay, so listen. Anyway, y'all, listen, let me get out of here really quick. I'm going to come back on live. I swear to God, in 10 minutes, we are going to talk. Oh, thank you, Mixed Chick. Thank you for being a member for 7 months. You said, thankfully, I have UT, and you gave me the best and important part. Thank you so much, Mixed Chick. Listen, really quick, let me just roll through the rest of this PowerPoint.
Levels, these vague-ish.
Okay. So again, one of the best attorneys of the game, he does not make mistakes. He does not say things accidentally, right? He is on top of his game. Again, Tupac Shakur's family hires lawyer. That was the man that was just speaking, Jay-Z's lawyer, to investigate Diddy's possible connection to the 1996. The feds are the prosecution, LAPD, LVPD. Again, Tupac Shakur's family hires team to investigate, a team, not just a lawyer, to investigate potential link to Diddy. Again, let me tell you something. If the feds actually put a body, and that body's name is Tupac Shakur, on Diddy, baby, the internet ain't never going to be the same. Spiro collaborated with Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Corey Carter, on several legal matters, including, all his names fit him. Sean fits him. Corey fits him too. Corey Gamble. Okay, let me stop. Including a lawsuit over Cologne deal where Carter was awarded $4.5 million. He was Alec Baldwin's lawyer for a manslaughter case related to the 2021 death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. He actually got that person off. Alex Spiro is a beast. And I'm telling y'all, the tides are changed and Diddy can call it a day. Renisha W said, talk that talk, T. We love you, girl. Thank you, Renisha. And Taniki Brown said, Tisa, just like how the feds called Diddy trying to do with tampering, how do we know Jay and Bay not doing the same way? Well, I mean, let me tell you something. This is one thing I do say, because y'all that are always rocking with me, we already know the drill. We come out, we bring proof, we bring receipts, we tell you our opinion, and then we let it marinate. Tattletales, we all scatter, we hold it in our heads, but we start watching and paying attention. And if you're busy, then I start watching and paying attention. Keep an eye on this space. Keep an eye on the space, because whatever plot is rolling out, it's going to be made very, very clear to us in the next 1 week, maybe 2 weeks max. Let's not forget that the grand jury indictment, I believe these 2 weeks, are interviewing some of Diddy's mail blank workers on top of other people. Now, they did fly to London. The investigation has been expanded, but we will talk about in the next live about Diddy's speed trial. And now the lawyers are trying to say that the Department of Homeland Security was leaking to social media. Baby, please. If the Department of Homeland Security was leaking to social media, that social media better not be TMZ, because if it was, baby, that was a setup from the beginning. But let's see what happens. Anyway, you guys, listen. Also, Carmen Laurie said, sorry, I didn't think that it was a coincidence that Jay-Z was friends with R. Kelly, Diddy, Russell Simmons, birds. Oh, let's also not forget Harvey Weinstein. Birds of a feather flock together. We will see. That's the one thing about the truth. Once you start pulling at strings, the truth is always revealed. Anyway, you guys, listen. On God, I will be back on live in 20 minutes. We are talking about Diddy's indictment. We're talking about the brand new updates that just came in while we were on this live. And we are also going to talk about who's really selling Diddy's tapes, because I got a few ideas. Anyway, y'all, I'll talk to y'all later. See you back on this channel in exactly 20 minutes. Bye, everybody.